Hello YouTube world, my name is Kelsey J. Welcome back to my channel. Today on my channel we are going to be talking about Auric Cosmetics. This is Samantha Ravndahl's new brand that she came out with, and if you're wondering if it is worth how much it costs, please continue watching. Okay, so she came out with two different products. There is the Glow Lust and then there is the Smoke Reflect. Glow Lust is more of like a liquid highlighter, and then the Smoke Reflect is a dual eyeshadow. There is a cream on the bottom and then there is a powder on the top. And I have tried these out. I did originally film a first impressions video, but we had some technical difficulties, so here I am refilming. So this isn't a first impression, full transparency. I've already used this, but they are not cheap. The Glow Lust is $45 and the Smoke Reflect eyeshadow duo is $39. So it is not cheap, but in watching her talk about it on her YouTube channel, she wanted it to be a very high-end luxury brand that is also vegan and cruelty-free. So I'm going to start by using the cream side of the Smoke Reflect, and this is Smoke Reflect in Defiance. That's the shade. And what I learned when using this, it's easier to apply it with a brush, and it's actually really easy to kind of blend and smoke out. I've never used really a cream eyeshadow before, and when I first used it I thought that it was gonna get all creasy, it was gonna bunch up in my eyelids because that's generally what happens with creams, but surprisingly it wears really well. It's easy to blend out, it's easy to kind of sheer, and I have to put on my eyeshadow primer first. Okay, so I have my primer down. Now I'm going to dip into the cream with my brush, and I'm gonna start on the outer corner and just kind of work my way in. And what I've noticed with this is it is very buildable. Like you can go in with one layer and kind of sheer it out, and then you can go in with another layer and build it to the depth that you like. But that's just one layer. And I think she also said you can apply it with your fingers. I haven't tried that yet. I think it's really nice, and there are multiple colors that she has. This was just the tone that I decided that I wanted to purchase. This is more of like the bronzy tone, and so I'm just building that up on the outer corner and then kind of shearing it towards the inner corner as well. Okay, so from like a not so first impression standpoint, I think this is a really cool product. I like that there are both the cream and the powder, and I'm really impressed with how the cream works. Like I said, it doesn't like bunch up in my eyelids, especially because I have like a hooded lid. I was worried that it would, you know, crease and get all like balled up in those creases, but it doesn't. It actually, once it goes on, it kind of works like a powder. Cute. And it's also kind of fun just to like tap your brush in, and it like bloop, 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 it like moves like kind of like a jelly. See, so once again, that's one layer, that's multiple layers. So it is buildable if you want it to be a little bit more natural looking. Okay, so I want to try something with this. I'm gonna try and put it on my bottom lash line just to see kind of how it works, not on the eyelid, but rather as like an eyeliner. So I'm taking my little tiny smudger brush from Auric Cosmetics and dipping it in. It is kind of hard to pick up. Maybe with a wet brush that will work a little bit better. Let's try it. Okay. Oh wow. You know what? It has a different, it's like more bronzy, and I think that's because I sprayed my brush. Can you tell? On the lid it looks a little bit more like a darker brown, but on the lash line it's more of that kind of like orange bronze, which I'm really surprised about. That might be because I wet my brush and it just completely changed the pigmentation. Can you tell? That's really cool actually. Wow, it looks like I have two different colors on my lid right now. Very pretty. I'm impressed. I haven't tried the cream with a setting spray, and I'm kind of shocked at how that changed. I kind of love that. Like, it's cool that one product can be used in so many different ways. And it's really easy, like even after that shadow's been sitting on there for a while, I just took a clean brush and I'm going through and I'm buffing out those edges to make it a little bit softer, and it's still really easy to blend even after it's dried down a bit. So that's really cool. Okay, now I'm gonna try the top side, the powder, which looks like this. See, it's not as deep smoky as the bottom. It's a little bit lighter, kind of more gold color. And I did read that you can use this either as a wet brush or a dry brush. And also, in my first video, I was like, oh, it's cool, there's a mirror, but it's kind of scratched. And then she literally posted on Twitter and said, there's a film. So remember that if you purchase this, there's a film covering the mirror. Should I go in with wet brush or dry brush? I think I'm gonna try dry brush on this because I used wet on the bottom lash line. But it is more of a fine milled glitter. So if you wanna just put like a little sparkle, you can do that. Or you can go in, she said you could use your finger, you can use a brush, you can use a wet brush. You can really kind of play with it and do whatever you want. It's nice. With a dry brush, it's kind of an underwhelming sparkle. So I think I'm gonna go in with my finger so I can give it like a nice little finger swatch. That's what it looks like on the finger. And there we go. Yeah, that gives that nice shiny kind of wet look. I really like these fine milled glitters, similar to the ones in my Raw Beauty Christie palette, Golden Ticket and Cafe Disco. They're both very, very fine milled. You can put like a tiny little bit of sparkle, or you can really cover the whole lid and build it up and make it look super shimmery. But I think it's a really cool addition to your collection if you're looking for a nice little shimmer topper color. And I feel like I could use this really with any color. Like once it goes on the lid, it kind of looks a little bit more transparent. So I could use like a blue or a green, and also use this Defiance Smoke Reflect. And it's not like it's gonna clash. I don't feel like the colors are so pigmented that they overpower, but it just kind of adds like a nice little sparkly shimmer. Cute. So next I'm gonna use my Glow Lust, and this is in the shade Morganite. She came out with like a range of shades, and people thought originally that this was a foundation. It's not a foundation, it's a radiant luminizer. So it's basically a liquid highlighter that you can use under your makeup, you can use it over your makeup, you can use it as a highlighter, you can use it as like a base if you're just going for like a nice dewy look. The first time I used it as a highlighter, and I used it over a powder, and it worked amazing. I was really shocked at how it didn't break up my setting powder. It didn't make it all patchy or chunky or weird. It really went on almost as if it was a powder. Like it's a liquid, but I applied it with a brush, with my normal like highlighter brush, and I was so amazed at how it like really kind of dried down. So today I want to use it underneath my foundation and see how if it gives that like lit from within kind of radiant glow. I'm gonna see how it compares to my NYX Bear With Me, because this one it's a primer, but it's like a really like radiant perfecting primer, and I remember when I first used it I was like, whoa, this is insanely shiny, which I love a dewy glow. Like that's kind of the look that I go for in general. I don't like the matte cakey look, especially as you age. I feel like matte powders and matte foundations, they really kind of like emphasize the crepiness or the creasing that you have around your eyes or on your forehead, stuff like that. So I'm gonna start with my Poreless Putty Primer, because I haven't tried it with this yet. I've been trying it with my NYX Marshmallow Primer, which it's okay, but I feel like that the Marshmallow Primer, it's become more of a trend, and it doesn't really do anything for me as a primer. It doesn't smooth. It's just kind of, it smells good and it's cute and it's trendy, and you know, it's nice. It does, if you don't have any texture, if you don't have any, you know, problem areas, I guess, yeah, go ahead, use it. But for me, I like to minimize pores and blur that texture, and the putty primer has been what's working for me lately in that area. So let's go in with the Glow Lust. This is in the shade Morganite, which is funny, awesome, kind of coincidental that my engagement ring is also Morganite. So that's kind of why I purchased this shade. It was also the lightest shade that she carried, so I didn't want to go too crazy and get something that was too bronzy for me. Okay, and I'm going to use a sponge for this, and I'm gonna wet it with some setting spray just to kind of help evenly distribute. So first impression of just putting it on bare skin, I would just wear this as it is. Like if I was going to the store or if I was gonna go like skate or something, it's just like a nice like glow. It doesn't look shimmery, it doesn't look glittery. It really kind of just brings that like kind of dewiness. I really like it. Yeah, compared to my NYX Bear With Me, this is completely different. Like I don't look overly like glass skin or anything. It just kind of brings like a nice moisturized look to your skin rather than like a shimmer. Very cool. And it dries down so that it's really like easily blendable. I almost feel like, I don't know, I've never used a product like this before. It kind of, I don't know. I've never used a product before. Like, I guess it could be used as a highlight. I did use it as a highlight the first time I used it, but just having it on bare skin, it doesn't look like a glittery highlighter. I don't know how else to describe it. I guess if you do have like oily problem areas, I would go over that with like maybe a matte setting powder, but honestly, I could just wear it like this and I feel like it would be fine. But I have these dark circles, so we're gonna go over it with a foundation. and see if it still gives that like luminosity from within. I'm not going to use my Conceal and Hydrate because I feel like that would be overly dewy, like because the Conceal and Hydrate gives me a dewy finish anyways. So I think today I'm going to go in with my Juvia's Place, the I Am Magic Velvety Matte Foundation, so we can see how it works underneath a matte foundation. Even though this is a matte foundation, I'm still getting that kind of radiant dewiness from underneath, which is pretty cool. I was expecting it to kind of cover it all up. This foundation is a little yellow for me, so don't judge. When I went to Ulta, you're not allowed to swatch, so I picked the one based on the picture that I thought was the best and came home and it obviously wasn't perfect, but it's okay, we can work with it. Okay, so I am getting like a little bit of splotchy texture on my forehead. That might be because of the foundation. I used this foundation the other day and I noticed that it kind of can sometimes cling to like dry spots. So that is not the luminizer's fault. That is probably the foundation's fault, or my fault for not moisturizing enough. But I do really like how you can still see the glow even underneath a matte foundation. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do my concealer, bronzer, contour, everything off camera, and then I'm gonna come back and give some final thoughts. Okay, so I'm back. I finished my brows. I did some bronzer, a little bit of nose contour, some blush, and a lip. And I did also put on a little bit of my Ofra highlighter just for a little bit extra. But my final thoughts on these two products are, if you have the extra money, it is expensive, but I would recommend these products because they are super high quality. The packaging is glass. The cap fits really well on top. I know she did that on purpose because she didn't want, if you're traveling or you're throwing this in your makeup kit, she didn't want the cap to be like coming off and rolling around. That's what happens with literally all of my caps on all of my products. I pull them off once and then they're loose forever. So I think that's really awesome. And then same with this pump. She said she worked really hard on finding a nice pump, and it, like I said, it's very high quality. Same with the Smoke Reflect. It's very high quality. This part is a little bit confusing. I keep trying to open it from the opposite end, but once you get it, you figure out like, oh, okay, that's the end that it opens on. And then also when you originally get it, there is this little black like stopper that fits in here. Mine doesn't want to go back in because I've had it out for a while, but you know, once you get it, you don't really need it anymore. But overall, I think they're really cool products. They're very versatile. The Smoke Reflect you can use with a wet brush or a dry brush, both on the cream and on the powder, and it gives a different texture, wet or dry, which I think is really cool. So you basically get 4 eyeshadows for 2 eyeshadows, which is really cool. And then the Glow Lust I think is really awesome because you can use it in so many different ways. You can use it as a liquid highlighter. You can just use it as, you know, a base for kind of a no makeup day if you want to look super dewy. You can use it underneath your foundation. You can use it on top of your foundation. You can even use it on top of a powder. So if you're looking for something that's super versatile, that's kind of like a one-stop shop, I would definitely recommend these products. And, you know, I just like to support fellow YouTubers and people that I look up to. I really like Samantha Ravndahl. I think she's super, like, deadpan, dry sense of humor, which I really kind of get along with people like that. So anyways, if you like this video, please like and subscribe, and I will talk to you later. Love you. Bye. Silence your phone.
Don't be making demands. Silence your phone.
Today on my I think the Glow Lust was, let me pull it up real quick. I should have already had this down. Shut up. Okay, so let me put on my eyeshadow. Gotta put on my eyeshadow primer. Gotta put on my eyeshadow. Fuck, I can't talk. What the fuck is he barking at?
He's growling in his sleep. Stop. Sorry.
Bless you. Focus, hello. Okay, there we go. I really like these Now I'm going to... It was also the lightest shade that... So, even though this is a matte... Most of the time, it happens when I'm not talking. So I just mute the sound.
You just fast forward while you're...
Yeah.
This part up.
Yeah.